impressed as I've known, even before today, before what you said, Stephen, that these people have been particularly prominent in wanting to end what you called the truth embargo. Certainly, Richardson has made statements that he says, hey, definitely, just to have somebody of his stature say that something landed in Roswell and we need to have those files, I think was a very powerful thing. I think if Podesta's forward to a book that's been on the New York Times bestseller list recently related to UFOs is kind of strong thing. So what I'm asking you here, the reason I'm putting that background to this question, is because I can already tell, especially from our luncheon discussion as former members of the Congress, that there seems to be developing a consensus that whatever we think of the evidence at this point, we think there needs to be hearings, and there needs to be official hearings. Again, I'm impressed that the attorney, I forget his name right now, that's been working.
Daniel Sheehan.
Yes. That although he called for UN hearings initially, he kind of was talking as his last statement that we need congressional hearings. Now, I don't know whether this group, this panel, should be focusing on members. And that's why I'd like you to please give us some advice in that regard.
Yes, sir. There is another audience that this event is targeting.
The question is, because you have different levels of security, I mean, in the declassified documents that we have, really the top secret and above, we have very few of those. So the declassified documents that are available to citizens are of the level of secret and confidential and restricted. Lower levels, they're still important, but they're not typically, very few that are actually top secret. And I think that this is significant because what has come to us are some lower level classified debates over the nature of these. And many of those did focus on, did the Soviets create a flying saucer with their cache of German scientists? Did we do this? In those documents, I have seen no significant evidence to point to the Soviets or our own German scientists.
Okay, before I invite maybe 15 seconds from both Mr. Friedman and Ms. Howe, could you also comment on the testimony here that hasn't really said a whole lot? It was mentioned briefly, but a whole lot about sightings before the 1940s, before the Second World War. I mean, I know you mentioned that there have been credible sightings for many, many years before, but we really don't get a whole lot of interest on the part of an administration until the 40s. Now, doesn't that add a little bit of question in terms of whether what we've just been talking about might have been a real concern for the number of hearings being held?
I can add one thing. What happened in July of 1945, we tested a bomb, White Sands, and then we dropped 2 in August on Japan. And I believe that action, which was a nuclear event, became a focus to this intelligence. And therefore, that's how the government became so intensely aware.
Yeah.
Can I add?
Sure.
I've done the presidents. I spent a lot of time trying to find stories of UFOs back in history through presidents. It starts in Roosevelt's day. It ties into the atomic bomb. If you go through presidential history, presidents are watched very closely. All their records are kept. I can find nothing before Roosevelt. So this is tied into the atomic.
Okay, but you're not saying, Mr. Cameron, are you, or any of you saying that President Wilson would have never been interested in phenomena that might involve extraterrestrial?
I think that the difference is that we really only in our own society develop much of a capability of detecting them. I mean, in World War II we get radar, so we develop electronic means of detection. We, for the first time ever, have a lot of people in the air. So I think in earlier times, it's not that this phenomenon didn't happen, but there were fewer stories and not really in front row center of our consciousness.
By the end of World War II. There were three things that told our visitors from out there that soon we'd be going out there, which would scare the heck out of them because we're such a primitive society. Atomic bombs, powerful rockets used to kill, not to deliver the mail, as some people said they would, and powerful radar, the beginning of the electronics revolution. The only place in the world in July 1947 where you could check out all three of those was southeastern New Mexico.
Okay.